These four men, Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, and Nixon, all kept the United States involved in the Vietnam War. But why did they all stay, even when things kept getting worse? Every U.S. president, from Truman to Nixon, stayed engaged in the Vietnam War because they feared the spread of communism. They didn't want to look weak and believed that pulling out would hurt America's reputation. Even when the war became a disaster, pride in politics kept it going. It all started with President Harry Truman. After World War II, the U.S. was locked in the Cold War with the Soviet Union. Truman didn't send soldiers to Vietnam, but he gave money and weapons to help France fight against the communist Viet Minh. He believed stopping communism in Asia was worth the risk. This was the U.S. stepping into Vietnam, quietly but for good. President Eisenhower took it a step further. He believed in the domino theory, that if Vietnam fell into communism, Southeast Asia would fall too. So he supported South Vietnamese leader Ngo Dinh Diem, and he sent advisors to help. Eisenhower didn't want to be the president who let communism spread. When John F. Kennedy became president, things got more serious. He increased U.S. involvement by sending thousands of military advisors. Even though Diem's government was corrupt, Kennedy didn't want to look soft during the Cold War. He thought he could control the situation, but Vietnam was already slipping. After Kennedy's assassination, Lyndon Johnson took over. In 1964, the Gulf of Tonkin incident gave him a reason to send in combat troops. He thought a quick military win would stop communism and help his image. Instead, the war got worse fast. But Johnson kept sending troops because he didn't want to be the first president to lose the war. In 1969, Nixon became president and promised to end the war, but he didn't want it to look like the U.S. lost. He expanded the war into Cambodia and Laos and came up with Vietnamization, training South Vietnamese troops so U.S. soldiers could come home. But even as he tried to pull back, the war dragged on. So why did all of these presidents stay in Vietnam? They feared the spread of communism, the idea that if one country fell, others would follow like dominoes. They all felt pressure to protect America's reputation as the leader of the free world. And maybe, most of all, they didn't want to be remembered as a president who lost a war. Every one of them believed they could turn it around, or at least not be the one to pull the plug. But Vietnam was way more complicated than they all expected. The Vietnam War lasted through 5 presidents. It cost the U.S. billions of dollars, divided the country, and took the lives of over 58,000 American soldiers. And for what? In the end, South Vietnam still fell. The war didn't just change foreign policy. It changed how Americans felt about their leaders, their military, and the truth. It taught us that fear, pride, and politics can keep a war going long after the mission is lost. It's easy to send troops into battle. It's harder to bring them home. And it's even harder to admit when it's time to stop fighting. To say the cost is too high, the mission has changed, or maybe it was never clear to begin with. That kind of honesty takes more courage than war itself.